Hello, good morning, all. Today we have Vinayak. He joins us to talk about the journey of Gen AI security and talks about his vision on the Gen AI security aspects that are seen in the industry. I will start with, I will have him explain about his background and current role and experience in the security industry. Vinayak?
Yeah. Thank you, Naveen, for getting me to this interaction. And I am Vinayak Godse. I am CEO, Data Security Council of India. It's a think tank and industry body for cybersecurity and privacy in the country. So, set up in 2008, and last 15, 16 years, we have been engaged on one part is policy and lawmaking with the government of India, other part working with industry and helping industry to understand the upcoming challenges and strategize better. So we engage with different sectors of industry, with by FSI, oil energy, power sector, tech industry, manufacturing, health sector, and we guide them in their journey for security, privacy, posture improvement against the kind of regulation that we see on one hand and kind of tech landscape the way it is evolving. Let's say, and we also engage with the community to build the capacity, capability, and skill in the space of cybersecurity and privacy. So that's the role that Security Council of India uh, performs at a national level in India.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for your introduction. So, as you see, right, the whole industry is moving towards Gen AI adoption, and people are talking everywhere. If you look at different type of social media or places, you just see folks talking about Gen AI, how Gen AI can leverage in different industries, how you can use that and make it better or improve performance, improve productivity, all sort of things, right? So, what are your views on this Gen AI to have be the next revolution in terms of the security?
Yeah. So one is now across sectors. I'm saying there is a scare and there is a race. Like the scare of uh, not into that and not able to get hold of it and use this AI capability and which could probably uh, help them improve both productivity and possibility for them, right? And that's why everybody is trying to put together some kind of strategy to get hold of this and make use of it basically. Until now, most of those black box AI was quite intense, very specific to enterprises, and now the wisdom that is available to these hundreds of thousands of models which is coming in and the kind of ecosystem, the infrastructure on one hand and other side, the tooling ecosystem which is coming in, which is helping you to adopt this in enterprise ecosystem. So there are a lot of uh, 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 effort, even if the businesses, the IT team or security team may not be really ready for it, but businesses definitely want to use it basically, right? When they use it, there are various different domains of cybersecurity because some of the ideas of security that we built until now, for that matter, need to know business access to so many different ideas that we put together for cybersecurity is going to get challenged by Gen AI quite intensely, right? So here the wisdom and information is available for you on fingertip, right? So this need to know to by default knowing the information, right? Until now, everything was so deterministic, so fixated, uh, and so fixed in the organization. But AI brings a lot of this probabilistic thing. So deterministic probabilistic thing that it brings to the type of recipe, right? Another challenge we see is like overall philosophy. If we look at you're trying to even understand you better using LLM, so that you are asking LLM algorithm to see the knowledge base set of your organization, and you're also putting your knowledge base to LLM ecosystem. In a way, you're training it basically, right, with your contents and with your token basically. So this brings a new paradigm for cybersecurity, and that needs to be understood well at a different level of nuances and overall as
Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Vinayak. Thanks for your thoughts. So, when you see about the Gen AI adoption, right? So security has been the major concern till now. So what are the major security risks that you see in the whole Gen AI adoption journey from different enterprises?
yeah. So we see, like for example, one part is recon, right? We getting um, hold of the organization that you are targeting, right? With the planet level data processing which is happening at GenAI, right? This entire recon activity that we used to do. So the barrier in terms of finding vulnerability, right, and configuring attack basically is significantly getting down, right? And anybody with this capability can understand the digital footprint of organization and can even do OSINT, for example. We used to do open source intelligence, but with this capability, it's very easy for you to get hold of the or understand the footprint of the organization, where it is spread, and get more information to help you plan or configure the attack. So that's the one important challenge that we see. Other challenge that we see is like um, uh, uh, the all the AI model compete lot on their ability to generate code, right? And because of that, uh, the payload that you basically use for compromising security, which is now that the generating payload will be so automated, so self-learned, and it will also try to find different way of detection basically. So generating payload is definitely one important uh, effort that we believe keep people used to take a lot of effort for that. There are a lot of investment needs to go, but that will reduce quite significantly, right? We also see from the data security concept in India, we also see from the crime perspective, right? So gathering footprint, scaling recon, and then crafting the modus operandi uh, for the digital crime or economic crime basically would be quite easy with this kind of capability available for you. And as we had been seeing that deepfake, the way it is coming, so they would be probably defeating the identity authentication that we built until now, right? And especially the biometrics and many of such kind of authentication, which has been built from remote um, login and remote authentication perspective. So GenAI will certainly, especially deepfake capability that it has, the content generation capability it has, could probably challenge the identity authentication system. That's what we believe that would happen. So these largely challenges that you have from the AI perspective.
Got it. And how about what, like, if you talk about the Gen AI security, right? What do you think? What are the strong threats in terms of, because you are leading the data security aspect in India, right? So, what are the different strong things? Because Gen AI adoption brings a new area or where the data can be exploited big time, right? Like if you use public LLMs in the enterprise, folks are trying to do things which might be putting they Gen AI, those public LLM Gen AI applications might be giving them, or they are giving very strong leverage to their productivity, making reports, blah blah things very fast. But unknowingly or knowingly, the engineers or the employees that are working in those enterprises might be putting some sensitive data which is to those LLM applications. So that is one aspect, right? Where the Gen AI, or what do
You
you see in those that front in.
see in the chain, right? Um, this entire AI chain, right? The researcher, the way they do research, the model level developer, and they build model every day. We see new either refinement of the existing or new model getting launched, right? And then we have infrastructure probably that takes care of it, and then we have the tooling ecosystem that is getting created, and then we have people who are helping you to develop it. And then at the end of the day, you are adopting as an enterprise basically. If you look at security perspective, right, the developer and the adopter, right? So these are the two out of this chain. These are two basically element which attracts a lot of those attention of security and privacy discussion, right? One is the security of model itself, right? And other part is what you build as an organization on using this kind of capability, right? And when you use this capability, we we think like one part is the uh, this unintended disclosure of data, because businesses are going and putting their data and probably uh, trying to use some kind of rack system or any such kind of system where they would put a, and we have seen that happen, right? When initial days of GenAI, People are even put a very sensitive code, right? And this unintended disclosure by businesses is definitely one important part, right? Then this attack, so the application they're building on AI, right? So attack on AI application is definitely one important part. The shadow AI, for that matter, we until now talked about shadow IT, but shadow AI is definitely one important part. There is overall attack on data infrastructure of the organization because we are creating that infrastructure using this tooling ecosystem evolved, right? And we are uh, putting all this knowledge base on some kind of LLM off system, whether it is agentic AI or LAM or for that matter RAG system. So this data pipeline that you are building, right? So that could be also one of the important attention of attack basically, right? And eventually it could lead to data theft. I mean, some this data theft could be very targeted and sometimes very unintentional as well, right? And when we are training Gen AI model with your organization's data, so some level of challenges with respect to the training in terms of poisoning data. So that could also be one of the threat vector that we see from our perspective.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Vinayak. Thanks for these thoughts. So, when we talked about how Gen AI adoption increasing, what are the different type of threats that are coming, how is the data security playing picture in terms of the Gen AI adoption. But what are the current strategies that the organizations are following to avoid those threats? What are the strategies they have right now, and what are the things that you are seeing are lacking in this current scenario or current adoption of Gen AI security?
Yes, currently, if you see, largely organizations are doing POC, right? And those POCs they are doing with a small set of data, small set of knowledge base, and eventually they want to go for the larger production level deployment as well, right? But the concerns about security is certainly there, right? For example, if you're setting a RAG system and in the RAG system, you are converting entire knowledge base to vector database, right? So now your existing knowledge base comes with access control, authentication, role-based access to information, right? So does the vector databases understand uh, the security, right? And can you configure security on vector databases, basically? Right? There are challenges there, right? And how do you uh, bring the things that we have been doing in security, right? How do we do that to this paradigm, to this entire new way of doing things just evolve, basically, right? So how do you bring that there is an important part, right? I mean, one of the key thing is we do a lot of segmentation with respect to data, with respect to application, with respect to uh, access given to the user base, basically internally and externally as well, right? So can you take all those things that we have been doing in cybersecurity and, and why we need to take it? Because that is what one is our own internal requirement, but that's what the regulatory ecosystem also has been demanding for, right? And we have to conform to a lot of regulations in cybersecurity. If you're taking it to the uh, to this kind of a new infrastructure of processing data and new infrastructure of doing business like AI is will become a kind of a primary infrastructure in coming future. So how do you bake into this uh, kind of a organizational expectations, obligations, and uh, requirement to this infrastructure, to this kind of paradigm that we are talking about, is certainly a matter of worry and matter of concern for most of the organizations.
Got it. And which industries do you think will be more, because every industry is trying to adopt Gen AI, right? So which industry will do you think will be like much faster in this adoption and will be requiring more on the security side?
Then first industry is would be all the that we see and all the unicorns that we have been looking at, right? So they would be quite keen to um, make use of it, basically, right? So and that could be one industry. The regulated industry is certainly constrained because of the regulatory compliances they need to really adhere to, and I believe those. who are regulated industry, BFSI for that matter, or any such regulated industry, they will have some constraint to really use it because there are not much clarity with respect to the regulatory uh, um, expectations and uh, obligations based. But I'm also seeing now some industry which probably were struggling to um, adopt technology and adopt this AI, black box AI paradigm that we talk about. They seems to be like I'm talking about value creating industry, like manufacturing industry, for that matter. They seems to be very uh, optimistic about because they're not regulated as well. Right? So I believe that some of those industry sectors probably have been probably not using technology to the extent that we see in BFSI and other technology sector probably could be an early adopter of this. Means we need a special effort to get them to this ecosystem, but they would be probably adopter of this. But due to first industry, certainly like e-commerce industry or a lot of daily product companies, uh, we talk about any such kind of companies, so they will be definitely the adopter of this.
Okay. So, what a current cybersecurity expert or a CISO do you think needs to be ready to fight with these new security threats which are getting imposed with Gen AI adoption?
Yeah. So, may one part is I'm seeing in security professionals and we'll also we will talk about privacy as well. Right? The understanding is still at a like ChatGPT and such kind of thing, but actual enterprise adoption is a LLM ops, right? And getting the discussion to the LLM ops basically is very important, right? And for the CISO and sprint leaders basically, right? So they need to understand how this tooling ecosystem is coming, uh, which is helping you to adopt this model, whether open source or commercial models, and help you to solve these your use cases. So how they do it and how exactly your knowledge base is created, how LLMs are looking at how, what is the vector databases, how basically challenges it throws to the table basically, how these agents would be consuming data and how they will be talking to each other. When they are talking to each other, would they follow some of the security expectations of the organizations or not? So, see, in coming to that level of operational uh, adoption, right, and that level of enterprise adoption and understanding the nuances of security is very important.
Got it. Got it. So, so we talked about like what is Gen AI, what is Gen AI security, how data is very crucial in terms of the Gen AI security, Gen AI adoption. What measures current CISO or what are the threats we are looking when the adoption is coming into picture? And then we also talked about like what are the things that the current CISO need to take care on the Gen AI security adoption, right?
One I think one probably important area which also become very from the privacy perspective that will apply from the business perspective as well. Like when you're using GenAI, so most of the time you are defining the purpose, right? You would be held responsible for the outcome it throws, right? And there could be a lot of obligations that will be coming on you because at the end of you define the purpose and it has thrown uh, uh, those kind of output for that matter, right, from LLM ecosystem, and you can process that output basically. So, so you also, I mean, one part is security, but other part is the responsibility of an organization towards the outcome and output it throws is also very important, right? And that applies all across industry, right? It applies education, it applies digital post industry, it would apply to a lot of lot of people are using it for content development, and people are using it for creation. People are using it for even uh, automating the lot of operations. And for the GenAI ecosystem, until now it was more like a explanation, more like a summarization, more like a decomposition, and it henceforth it will go more like a helping you to achieve those complex goals. Right? It will help you to um, uh, take those actions, more automated multi-agentic system for that matter, or large action model basically for that matter, then automatically it will be consuming a lot of things. Would that be transparent to you? Would be able to uh, uh, showcase the diligence that these kind of security requirements and obligations that you are able to um, you are adhere those diligence while taking those decisions basically. So some of these things would be also very important from the success perspective.
Got it. So, Vinayak, the other thing what I wanted to talk is like we talked about the whole journey, right? But there are a lot of startups or a couple of startups which are right now uh, trying to focus on the space, and Swift Security is one of the startup that I am representing. I'm co-founder of Swift Security, where we are trying to focus more on securing Gen AI application. So, what is the advice that you think that you want to give to the startups like us, which are in this space, which are like us, we are focusing on securing public LLM application, private LLM application, usage of co-pilots and other things. So what is the advice and that you come up with that you want to give to startups like us to focus where and how, what we needs to be done here?
Yeah. So I think one part is the things that are happening at a model level, right? Some of the core research and innovations, breakthrough research and innovations are happening, and then people are immediately getting hold of them and putting models and refining their model, and new models are coming basically, right? And the the models themselves have been trying hard, right? To align with the humanity, right? And that's the alignment process that we talk about, right? That you your whatever input it accepts and output it throws has to align with the human expectations, right? And there are a lot of science and uh, which are evolved in recent past, and I'm sure City Security is working on that, like helping you to um, test the responses of the model, because at the end of the day, if you're using the model, uh, one part is the model developer. They need to be careful, and they may be invest, and you can help the model developer also, because you are building probably those kind of capabilities. But other part is those who are using those models, and they will be owning the responsibility. So how do and in that case, I think getting hold of all those discussions and innovations, and some of the concerns that people are talking about, and how the concerns are getting reflected in the research is very important, right? And how do you immediately quickly build something which can help the model developer? That's one target for you for that matter. But more importantly, the enterprise adopter, right? Because they would be primary owner of output that model throws to them. Right? So how do you enable uh, the uh, the model adopter or user for that matter in enterprise ecosystem with with such kind of capability where they could use it, but in a way that it is not away from the overall humanity expectations from this model basically. So one part is that, right, the testing and assessing uh, uh, the input output, and making sure that it conforms to the societal norms. So one part is that. Second part is uh, uh, overall, I think uh, so they have those obligations of privacy. So how do you, and privacy and especially data, I mean, how do you help them to um, uh, take care of the personal data? Means, for that matter, if they are putting some data, and the data as a personal data of their end consumer, is there a way, and what are the science and technologies are evolving to? Because at the end of the day, AI in enterprise ecosystem is you are putting your knowledge base definitely to LLM. May not be directly. Sometimes some LLM ecosystems are not evolving in a way that you can just use the algorithm and their capability, but not exactly data. And they promise you that data will not go to their central processing ecosystem. But getting helping organization to have that confidence that I can use a RAG, I can use multi-agentic system or LAM, but my data is protected and that doesn't leave uh, 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 organization boundaries. So that is another second area probably A lot of things are required to be done in this area. Now, another part is we understand this concept of red teaming, uh, application security, or data security. So they will be little bit change here, right? Means how do you do red teaming of Gen AI application? How do you secure the data pipeline for AI? How do you help organization to do uh, 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 um, these entire shadow for that matter? In the end of the day, organization has a different portfolio of application, and that portfolio would be different application would be using different capabilities of AI basically. Right? How do you help manage that entire portfolio of a Gen AI application basically? The shadow AI will be quite intense, right? And how do you help organization to identify the use of AI, which probably not legitimate as per business policy, basically, and help them manage it, basically. Um, Monitoring the output of the AI, and using some kind of moderation um, is another important thing. And at the end of the day, most of the security solutions like yours should help organization to comply with the regulations coming increasingly in this area, basically. So probably having a deep core research to know daily what is happening, what kind of research is coming, how the research is getting translated into actual model, and how entire tooling ecosystem is helping organization to get hold of them. And there could be some challenges in tooling ecosystem as well, where they have been planned, where they have been putting all those ideas together. Right? And last 1 week, I'm just looking at all these agents that are getting launched, right? So, and then increasingly, these agents will be adopted by the organizations. Right? So, for ship security, I think I know your team had been quite intensely invested into this, but uh, no matter how much you invest, the space is so fast. Getting hold of the speed and volume at which things are happening, basically, right? And um, and understanding at a nuanced level, applying some critical thinking, so that you extract value for the enterprise which are adopting Gen AI. So that's something I can suggest from myself to
Cool.
security.
Thank you. Thanks, Vinayak. This is pretty nice. Just because we are running out of time, just to add here. First of all, really thank you for your time to talk to us. Just wanted on your last point, right? So, you said first point is like we need to look at the human aspects or sociality. That is like comes like abusive language, toxicity, checking all those sort of things in the LM applications which are getting ingressing or egressing things, right? So we in Swift are already taking care of the things where we are have like 20 plus scanners which will look at the data in terms of if the data or the prompts that are getting sent to those private LM applications are having all those human aspects taken care. Apart from the data security aspect that you touched, right? You said okay, we need to really make sure that the enterprise data that the customers or the employees are having access to all their own data as well as the customer data they have access to, it's pretty much secure with them and they are not unknowingly or unknowingly are not pushing to any private LM applications or public LM application. That is also taken care. We have an enterprise level DLP sitting at the back where we scan. We have rules, strong rule policy, more than 1,200 data identifiers, 250 rules, taking care of all those things, and we can customize their own rules and data identifiers. So these two aspects are clearly covered in Swift. Definitely, this governance as well as the compliance is the things that we need to work, and we will be working on that. But I really love talking to you today. Really enjoyed, and thanks a lot for taking time and to talk to us. And thank you. Have a nice evening. Thank you. Thanks a lot.